Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review on my Sisu Max mouthguard. So check it out. Alright guys, so I have my Sisu Max mouthguard here. This video is going to be taken over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to open this mouthguard today and go through the process of fitting it. And then for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to use this in sparring, and then obviously I'll do a review of it. But before we do that, I'm just going to cut this open and we can kind of look at how this mouthguard is. So here's the packaging. I bought this on Amazon. This is their Max. So they have a couple of models of the Sisu mouthguard, the Max being for people that are doing, combat sports, boxing, MMA, whatever it may be. And it has a thicker mouthguard, so it's 2.4 millimeters thin, where some of the other mouthguards are a little bit thinner. It says adult ages 11 plus, high impact sports. It comes with a $35,000 warranty. So I guess if you lose your teeth, they'll pay you, I'm assuming. Or pay your doctor or your dentist, whoever it is that fixes your teeth for you. Limited 1-year dental warranty, talk, breathe, drink, works with braces, powered by Diffusix technology, and it's remoldable up to 20 times. There's the bite pad, and you can register your Sisu mouthguard. So I have a pair of scissors right here. We'll go ahead and start cutting this open and go from there. So at least open this properly. Here we go. So I have that cut open, and here is the mouthguard. Now, looking at the mouthguard, I mean, when you're looking at it, you're like, this is gonna actually protect my teeth, but I mean, apparently it will. So there's a ton of reviews on this mouthguard, and a lot of positive reviews, but just looking at it, it's just a flat, thin piece of 2.4 millimeter, like some kind of ABS plastic or something that has the holes in there, and I'm assuming that's gonna be for you to be able to breathe, obviously. So here's the actual mouthguard itself. Again, nice, just flat piece. Here's the registration, and then here is the actual instructions of this mouthguard. So fitting checklist. So it basically tells you what you should have before we start. So a bowl, ceramic or glass, hot but not boiling water, fork or similar utensil, and a mirror. If you have braces, go through that step, I'm assuming. Do this and don't do this. Use water that is hot to the touch to activate your mouth guard. Double check that the bottom of your front teeth are lined up with the bite pad. Suck in air gently, creating a snug but comfortable fit that stays in place while speaking. Don't do this. Use boiling water to mold your Sisu mouthguard. Stretch the material, creating large perforations. Suck in air too vigorously, creating a fit that's too tight. Bite down too hard or create deep bite marks in the guard. So step 1, wash your hands. Basically shows you the steps. So I'm not going to read all this to you guys. I'm going to start doing the process, and then you can go along with me as I do this process. So this is the instruction. This is going to take way too long for me to read this with you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and get the water and all the parts ready, and then we can go ahead and get this mouthguard fitted. So I went through the instructions on how to get this mouthguard heated up. You have to get it anywhere between 160 to 170 degrees. They recommend getting a pot of water, and then from there, heating it up over your stove. You then use a thermometer. That's the only way I know that it's going to be accurately between 160 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. The other way you can do it is if you have an oven, you can heat your oven up to 160 to 170 and put this mouthguard in a oven-safe dish and then heat it up that way. So that's another way you can do it, an alternative. So I have my pot of water. I have a slotted spoon so I can lift it out when I'm done heating it up, and then a thermometer. I'm not sure how else you're going to be able to know it's between 160 and 170 degrees without a thermometer. So you can get yourself a cheap one from any regular, you know, grocery or department store, and stick that in. Also good for checking your meats when you're cooking steaks. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. So I'm gonna get this heated up, and then I'm gonna check with my thermometer to get the temperature, and then we'll get this thing fitted. All right, but let's go ahead and check the temperature to see where we're at. It's been about 2 minutes or so. So we're at about 168 degrees. So it says between 160 and 170. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. So we're good temperature-wise there. Close my thermometer, and now I'm gonna drop this in for 1 minute and let it do its thing. It's gonna soften up. I'm gonna put my timer on for 1 minute. We'll let this count down, and then from there, we just pull it out and fit it to our mouth. And once we have it in our mouth, we have to leave it in our mouth once it's fitted to the teeth for anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm gonna let it do its thing right now, and then we'll take it out and we'll get it fitted. All right, it's been a minute already. Timer's off. Turn this timer off and pull the mouth guard out. They say it's really important to be careful when you're pulling this mouth guard out, not to fold it. And you can see already that it's starting to bend because of the heat. So I'm gonna throw it on this paper towel. It's good to have a slotted spoon, that way you're not picking up any excess water. So that's that. And then now we're gonna go ahead and fit it to our teeth. All right, grab this now. So when you're putting it in, there's a little bite pad right here on the mouth guard that you want to put your front teeth on. So I'm gonna line everything up. Mark down. And fold up. So now I'm supposed to have suction and leave this in my mouth for 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm gonna bite down on it and use my tongue to kind of push up on the inside of the mouth guard. And then after 35 minutes, it should harden, and I should be able to just pull it out of my teeth. It shouldn't be able to drop out on its own. I should be able to use my fingers to actually remove it with my hands. So we'll see how this works. So the 5 minutes is up, and the mouth guard is molded to my teeth now and hardened. You guys can see that I can talk relatively easy, and it definitely, just for my first impression of having it in my mouth, it doesn't feel as bulky as my custom elite mouth guard. And obviously the true test is when I'm gonna start using it when I spar, to see how I feel from a conditioning standpoint, and as far as how well it protects my teeth. But you can see it looks real good. It has a really thin profile to it. And I love the fact that this is kind of like in between a cheaper like boil and bite mouth guard and a full custom mouth guard that you have to actually send like your dental impressions in. So one thing to note when you're forming this to your teeth is that you want to take it out real quick from the hot water or whatever heat source you're using and put it in your mouth right away, because it hardens pretty quickly. The other thing to keep in mind is that, you know, this is not a true 100% custom mouth guard. So when you fit it towards the top part of your teeth, make sure that you're using your fingers to push this piece in, because what ends up happening is that this kind of flares out. You see this little bridge right here that I'm pointing at with my finger? That has a tendency to want to like poke out. And because of that, if you allow this middle section to poke out, if you get punched in the mouth, you might end up cutting the inside of your lip open, because once this is hard, it's like almost like a little point. So if this is sticking out and obviously your lip is right over it, if you get punched straight on, this piece is actually gonna dig into your lip and cut your lip open on the inside. So it's really important that you make sure you use your fingers to form at least this front portion and then kind of dig around to the sides right here. So basically you're gonna be pushing in with your fingers as you go and let it form. And then from there, you just lift your tongue up and then kind of suck the air out of it and hold it in your mouth for about 5 minutes. So there you have it. It's nice and formed. I'll be using this mouth guard. See you guys in a few weeks. All right, guys, so welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks now that I've been using this mouth guard during training, so now it's time for a review. Again, this is the Sisu Max mouth guard. This retails for $34.99. I got mine in white. They have some other basic colors as well: black, blue, pink, orange, green, basically the basic colors. You can go onto their website and check it out. It is made of a high-tech thermoplastic, is what they describe it as, that is BPA free. It is 2.4 millimeters in thickness, so out of all of the Sisu mouthguard models, this is the thickest one. So it's aimed towards those of you that are in a high impact sport, combat sports like boxing, mixed martial arts, basically any sport that you're most likely going to get hit in the face and you want to protect your teeth. So this is aimed for those of you that are 11 years old and up. So if you're younger than that, make sure that you get a smaller size. You want to get the correct sizing because this may be too large for your mouth when you go and fit it. Now, as I showed you guys earlier in the video, I went through the entire fitting process. It was pretty seamless. I would describe that this mouth guard is kind of a hybrid. It's in between a standard boil and bite mouth guard, which I've had in the past, like the Shock Doctors. Basically any of those boil and bites that you can go to really any sporting goods or department store and purchase, usually anywhere between like $10 to $20. Some of them are a little bit higher end, like they have like gel infused into them, and basically the concept behind a boil and bite is just like what it's called. You put it in boiling water, the mouth guard is kind of pre-shaped already, and it's kind of a one-size-fits-all type deal. And then you bite down on it because it becomes soft after you boil the rubber, and then that's pretty much it. The only issue with those boil and bites is that it, again, has more of a one-size-fits-all type feel to it. So it doesn't feel completely custom. And a lot of times it almost feels like it's kind of blocky inside your mouth. It's just not as comfortable. And oftentimes you can't breathe as well or you can't really speak. So it kind of inhibits your breathing and it's just kind of an uncomfortable fit. And then you have a full-blown custom mouth guard like this Elite mouth guard that I have. I've had this one for years. I've been using it for a very long time. This custom one, as you can see, is completely custom to my top teeth. So basically what happens is Elite Mouthguard sent me an impression kit in the mail. I followed the instructions, I put it in, I bit down, and then I sent it back to them, and then they sent me my custom mouthguard. So the Sisu Max is not quite that yet, but to me it's right in between. And it's not necessarily a boil and bite because you just get hot water and you drop it in there. So it's kind of the same concept, except you're not really boiling the mouthguard per se. You're just getting it hot enough to where you can soften up this thermoplastic mold. So when you bite down on it, it forms to your teeth much easier. And you can see compared to a standard boil and bite, it definitely conforms much better than a thicker boil and bite mouthpiece, and it's much thinner as well. One thing I do love about the Sisu mouthguard is how thin it is. If you can see just the thickness of my Elite Custom, my Gladiator mouthguard, my Gladiator Elite mouthguard right here, you can see just how much thicker it is. Now, granted, this gives you a little bit more protection because of how thick it is, but the drawback to that is, speaking and my breathing is not as good as with the Sisu. The Sisu is much more thinner profile, so it makes it easier for me to close my mouth and kind of control my breathing, which I do like about the Sisu. So again, you can see just how much bigger this custom one is compared to the Sisu mouthguard. And you can see now that the thermoplastic is completely hardened, I've been using it for a while, you can see that it gets my back molars imprinted nicely into it. It also has these little holes that are perforated, so it allows you to breathe through the mouth guard. One thing I did mention a couple of weeks ago when I did my first couple of videos when I made this mouth guard and shaped it to my teeth is that this piece right here, I was afraid that it was going to kind of bump into my upper lip. And actually, I didn't have any issues with that. And just make sure when you do form this mouth guard that you really push against your lip like this to make sure that it sticks before it really hardens, because otherwise you'll have to do it again. Sisu also advertises that you can actually remold this mouthguard up to 20 times. So say for example, you molded it and you felt like the fit wasn't perfect and it already hardened, you can actually reheat water again and drop the mouthguard back in, and you'll actually see that the mouthguard will kind of flatten out and go back to its original shape when it was shipped to you or wherever you bought it at. So I definitely like that. I'm going to just go ahead and slip this in and show you guys. So now it's in my mouth. I can talk easily with this, especially compared to my Gladiator Elite mouthguard. It's much more thinner profile. So when my mouth is closed, you can tell I have a mouthguard in, but it doesn't really protrude out. Sometimes the mouthguards are so thick that your upper lip, it looks like you got stung, like you have like allergic reaction, and your lip is huge. With this, you don't really get it. You can see that my face sits a little bit more naturally, and I can talk, and I can breathe nicely through it. And again, it doesn't fall out as long as you form it properly. You don't have any issues with the mouthguard just dropping out. You actually have to grab it with your finger and pull it out. So it holds nicely into my teeth. I can breathe really well. It gets a nice satisfying bite to it. So if you're one of those people that like to grind your teeth, you can bite down on this and you won't have to worry about your teeth poking right through the mouth guard. So overall, I'm very satisfied with this mouth guard. I think I'm actually going to be starting to use this a lot more than my custom one. So I'll put this one in, you guys can see. See how much bigger this is? I feel like it's a little harder for me to breathe because of my tongue. There's so much mouth guard towards the middle part of my mouth. So you can see how much thicker it is, and it's hard for me to talk. And it's almost like you feel like you're going to gag a little bit. So good mouth guard, but putting this one on again. Much thinner profile, much easier to use. I just feel like it's more comfortable in my mouth. So now I can see why the online reviews for this mouth guard has been so great, because I feel like they really hit the perfect combination of a custom feel to it without the custom pricing, because a lot of times custom mouth guards are like $70, $80, and sometimes even over $100. So for $34.99, you get yourself kind of like a semi-custom mouth guard. It's not comfortable and blocky like a Boylan bite you get at the sporting goods store. And I honestly think that this is really the perfect mouth guard for both people that are beginning in the sport and maybe are looking into getting into sparring for the first time, or even those of you that are veterans and have been sparring or even are at the pro level. I think this is definitely a really, really nice mouth guard and worth the price for sure. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find the Sisu Max mouth guard. I'll see you guys later. Peace.